In April of 1823, when Betsey Stockton boarded a ship that would later arrive on the harbor of the Sandwich Islands, I wonder if she knew that she would be making history as the first single American woman to go overseas as a missionary. I found Betsey's story in 2019, just weeks before I boarded a plane to India. I like to travel, so the sights, the smells, the culture, the food, I'm here for all of it. Before I go anywhere, I do a lot of research, so I was ready. But the thing that impacted me the most about India, the thing that I couldn't do enough research for but had been preparing for all my life, was how my female brown-skinned self impacted the experience. That might sound weird, but I didn't know that who I was would be called out in a crowd of people and then platformed so that I could talk about God. I won't go into the whole story, but the big takeaway here is that God chooses to make us uniquely. In Jeremiah 1, God tells Jeremiah that he knew him before he formed him in his mother's womb. God also knew me, and he knew you too. That means we're God's unique design, created with intention to do something uniquely for him. Betsey was born into slavery in Princeton, New Jersey around 1798. Betsey's owner, Robert Stockton, gave Betsey to his daughter, Elizabeth Stockton. After Elizabeth Stockton married Reverend Ashbel Green of Philadelphia, Betsey served the Green household as an enslaved child where she was privately educated in the Green's home. Miss Green eventually died, but Reverend Ashbel would later become a pastor and the president of Princeton University. Now, Betsey was given permission to attend evening classes at the college, but in the winter of 1815, when Stockton was just 20 years old, her life made a radical shift when the college underwent a revival as a part of the Second Great Awakening. The next year, Stockton was emancipated by Green. Now, a law requiring gradual emancipation didn't go into effect until 1825. For this reason, Stockton remained in the Greens' household as a domestic paid servant. The Greens treated her as a member of their family and allowed her to continue her education. Okay, let's talk about gradual emancipation. Gradual emancipation was a construct used by some states to abolish slavery over a period of time. Pennsylvania's Act for the Gradual Abolition of Slavery of 1780 was the first legislative enactment in the United States. It basically said that every Black or mulatto child born within the state after the passing of the act would be free upon reaching the age of 28. Once the Pennsylvania residents were freed, they were supposed to be treated the same as indentured servants, who were basically contracted for 4 years of service and would receive tools of their trade or other privileges. After Pennsylvania, 4 other self-declared states adopted policies to gradually abolish slavery: New Hampshire, Massachusetts, Connecticut, and Rhode Island. These states basically enacted the first abolition laws in the Americas. This eventually led to the Emancipation Proclamation and the 13th Amendment to the United States Constitution, making slavery illegal in every state. Betsey departed New Haven, Connecticut on November 19, 1822, as part of the second company of missionaries sent to Hawaii. Stockton joined the company partly as a missionary and partly as a servant to the stewards who were expecting a child. Her missionary contract stated that she was to be regarded and treated neither as an equal nor as a servant, but as a humble Christian friend. By the time of her arrival, after more than 130 days at sea, Betsey Stockton became the first single American woman to journey overseas as a missionary and the first African American woman to arrive in Hawaii. Though Stockton had no formal teaching training, she started teaching almost immediately after arriving to the islands. She started a school with just 10 students. First, she taught Hawaiian and missionary children in the mission house. Later, she organized and taught at a school in the church for about 30 adults and their children. She also taught Native Hawaiian teachers who continued her work after Stockton left the Big Island in 1825. Betsey Stockton's career as a missionary was short-lived. Her work in Hawaii ended 2 years later due to Miss Stewart's health. Once home again, she lived for brief periods with the Stewarts before and after Miss Stewart's death in 1830. But teaching became the center of her life. An infant school in Philadelphia, a brief stint among Indians at Grape Island, Canada, near New York State, and for 30 years as founder, director, and active teacher in schools in the Black community of Princeton, New Jersey. Betsey was a natural leader. In 1840, she helped to form the first Presbyterian Church of Color. It was later named the Witherspoon Street Church in 1848. Stockton never married, but stayed in touch with Charles Stewart and his son, the baby that was born on the island. In 1860, the son bought her a house in Princeton, close to the church that she started. She died in Princeton on October 24th, 1865. Let's celebrate Betsey Stockton, our unsung hero.